Now we're recording.
Hi, welcome everybody. We're going to be talking about our journey to our STEM careers. It's also a panel session, so for the most part, at any point in time, if you have any questions at all, just drop them in chat. We have questions already lined up that are like frequent questions, but they're by no means ones that we have to answer. So if you have something else that you want us to answer, we'll do that instead. So my name's Bella Rocha. I'm a dual major in mechanical engineering and design innovation and society. Currently a senior, but I'm going to be pursuing a master's next year, so I'll be here for one more year. Some things about me. I moved from New Mexico to Connecticut in high school. So I kind of grew up in a little bit of both, and now I'm in New York where RPI is. And I'm also a part of Engineers for a Sustainable World and Student Sustainability Task Force outside of Engineering Ambassadors. I really like everything and anything environmental, sustainability related. I think that's kind of the track I want to go down with my career. Not totally sure yet. And that's just me on grass and then me with my brother. So
Hi everyone, my name is Jacqueline Higgins. I'm a biomedical engineering major. I'm also a senior, and a fun fact about me is that I'm getting a minor in studio arts as well, and I really love combining like engineering and science with the arts and like being creative. I will also be pursuing a master's here next year, so I'll be here for one more year also.
All right, and hi guys, I'm Erin Cohen. I'm a computer and systems engineering major, class of 2023, so I graduate next year. Um, I some things about me. I play bass. I haven't really played it in a while, just because it's been hard to join an orchestra during a pandemic. But still, I still do lessons and stuff. And at RPI, I'm part of Rensselaer Electric Vehicle, and we build a car, so it's pretty fun. I'll put someone else in. And all right, so I think that's it for introductions. So if again, you guys can say any questions that you have. Otherwise, we'll just hop right into some of the frequently asked questions that we already have written down.
yeah, and what I know we've done in the past is we just kind of go down the line and every person answers the question if that's what you
Yeah,
guys
that sounds good.
want. Okay.
All right, there we go. So question one is, what got you interested in STEM? Bella, do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. So for me, senior year of high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was always my two favorite subjects were math and English. I really liked to write and I really liked math class. Science was honestly like very mid to me. I'm not gonna lie. It was never anything that I was like, that's what I want to do. No, never that. I also was not a big fan of chemistry. But I had a physics teacher, and then he was kind of a big pusher for me to go into engineering. So I actually went home and like Googled different engineerings, and I bounced around a lot. When I applied to colleges, I started off as environmental engineering. In the application process, I actually switched from civil to environmental, and I started off as math on all of that. So, and now I'm mechanical, so none of it matters. But I I always really liked math growing up, and I had a physics teacher that was like, check out engineering. So yeah.
Awesome, thanks, Bella. I'll go next then. So for me, I guess there was an engineering day at my high school actually, and I think I got to participate in sophomore year and junior and senior year, where like some people would come in, like sometimes people from companies or just like our teachers would like take like we'd have a day each year. It was like engineering day, almost like exploring engineering day at RPI. And basically they would do like cool presentations and then we would get to do these hands-on activities like we do at Engineering Ambassadors too. And I remember one of the activities was we had to build like a bridge with out of like popsicle sticks and all this like random like household items and stuff because we were simulating like how they get cocoa and like cacao plants like from the high trees, and we were trying to balance like a can on top of like our little bridges in between two chairs. And it was just so fun, like doing those activities, and it kind of got me thinking about engineering. And then in senior year, I took AP biology, and I just love that class. It's like the opposite of what Bella was saying, but I really liked the science classes. So, and then funny enough, I when I signed up for RPI, like when I got in, I put chemical engineering, but then I was like, wait, I really love bio, so then I switched it to biomedical engineering. So that's how I got interested.
All right, cool. And I guess for me, I used to be actually a really big art kid. Like I thought I was gonna, go to art school, do animation or something. But then in high school, we had a club fair, and I'm a big fan of video games. So there was a computer science club that was advertising, hey, we make video games. Really simple ones, but like it was still really cool. Um, so I joined that club and ended up realizing, wait, I really like computer science. And from there, I started taking more kind of engineering related classes in high school. And specifically, there was a robotics class we did where we got to build and code our own robots, which I really enjoyed that. So when I was looking at what I wanted to major in college, I originally thought I was going to do computer science, but ended up realizing I like kind of building the physical robot too, which is why I ended up going with computer engineering. All right. Guess we'll go to the next question then.
Yeah, if you guys have any comments or any questions at any time, feel free to put them in the chat. You can even privately message someone. If you click the little carrot, you can go down and message the person who's speaking if you don't want to send it to everyone as well.
Also, even though we may only be our three disciplines, if you're interested in other disciplines, we can probably definitely speak on those as well. Just being here at RPI and being with the community, we can usually know a decent amount about a little bit of all the STEM majors. So if you're like, I'm not a mechanical or interested in bio, and you're fine, like just comment the question and we'll see what we can do.
Uh, all right. Well, there doesn't appear to be anything in the chat, so I guess we can try this next question for now. Why did you decide to go into your current field of study? Oops, I think I accidentally answered this with the last one, but you guys want to expand?
Yeah. So I am currently a dual in mechanical engineering and design. I'm not gonna lie, not crazy about the mechie. I do really like engineering. I do really like physics. I do really like math, which is why I chose mechie is also mechanical engineering. I just abbreviated that, but mechie. That's why I chose mechie. I do love a lot of my studies. I don't think it was the perfect fit for me. I do really like engineering though. I started off, like I said, as environmental engineering because I've always had this really big, like, I really like doing outreach. I really liked kind of doing community growing. And I was like, oh, environmental engineering, it's going to help the world, blah, blah, blah. I joined it. And not to say it doesn't, but it was very different curriculum wise from what I expected. Environmental engineering was very chemistry heavy and also very similar to civil engineering. So I took a lot of civil engineering courses, and that wasn't really what I wanted because I just, not me and chemistry, not a vibe. So I switched over to mechanical, honestly, as kind of a placeholder until I figured out what engineering I really wanted to go into. And I actually did really like mechanical because of the physics. And then from there, I added my dual in design. So honestly, I think I'm really happy with the combination of majors that I figured out. My design major is the only design major in the country that's situated within the social science department. So that means that rather than just learning design, we have to learn design with a very human centered focus. So we have to learn about how to design for communities. We do a lot of like anti-racist design. We do a lot of design within those disabled communities. And I think that combined with my engineering curriculum is a really good combination for me because, like I said, I really always liked that kind of outreach aspect. So with the two, I'm able to apply a lot of the technical skills I get from my mechanical degree, whether it be the softwares I learn or even if it's just the math and understanding of how things move. Now I'm able to apply that to my design major and do things within community within that. So I've done things from toy design to I've done like weird fire alarm systems that help animals in rainforests or whatever. I've done a little bit of everything, but I've always applied the mechanical technical, but mostly the what I believe in socially. Um, so yeah, that's I'm pretty satisfied with my combination.
Thank you, Bella. Yeah. So for me, I guess I kind of answered this a little bit in the last question too. Um, why did I decide to go into the biomedical? But so when I first applied to RPI, I applied as chemi, right? And I realized, just like Bella, that chemistry maybe wasn't like the main thing for me. I realized that it was a lot to do with the chemicals and the different reactions and things like that. And I really wanted to do something more focused on helping like people. And chemical engineering is very important for making processes and for making like a lot of the stuff that we depend on to live. But I kind of wanted to make a difference in like maybe the bio or the medicine field. And I always loved art. I also almost majored in art. But then I thought, how can I combine like biology and art? And then like I decided to go into biomaterials in order this way I would be able to like combine design with biology and medicine and kind of get the best of all of the worlds all together. And I'm really happy with my choice, and I really like biomedical engineering, so I'm glad I picked it.
Kind of related, unrelated. I also almost majored in art. A lot of art kids here.
It seems to be like a weird trend that I guess everyone maybe is an art kid at some point, and then you either eventually become an engineer or
Yeah. I
yeah,
also think like engineering requires like a lot of kind of creativity, you know?
that's
Yeah,
true.
Like that's why I like to do it because I was like, oh, I like design and I like
right. Yeah,
video and
same.
everything. So it was kind of a
Actually,
way.
I was just gonna say that's probably actually that was I was gonna kind of say that with my answer to this question because I went in with the idea of computer science, and there definitely is like it definitely is kind of it definitely requires a lot of creativity. Uh, Coding at least. Um, I mean, I mentioned before that I went into this field because I just liked the classes I had taken about it. Um, but I guess it did take a lot of research also to figure out that I like this field because there are so many different engineering fields. I could have done electrical engineering or computer science, computer systems engineering. There's a lot of things that go into a lot of different things. And part of that is just figuring out, what do I like, what don't I like. Um, and there's a lot of different ways to get there through different majors.
Also, as a mechanical engineer, there's a lot of like I think blended areas, and I'm sure you guys have your blended areas as well. Like I know biomedical, you can sometimes apply for like chemical engineering positions. As a mechanical engineer, I also apply for aerospace engineering positions. I had a civil engineering internship last semester, like or last summer. So like there's a lot of flexibility within engineering because the core curriculum is very similar.
Absolutely. You can kind of like go back and forth and like figure some things out in the other disciplines or like work even in those different positions just because of your background in solving problems in engineering, you know?
Exactly. And like she was saying that she's interested in biomechanics and I'm a mechanical engineer, so it's not uncommon where you would find a mechanical engineer and a biomedical engineer focusing in mechanics on the same team,
Exactly, yeah.
going for the same positions because ultimately they're looking for someone who's mechanically inclined for these biomedical devices. Next question.
Awesome.
Covered a lot with that one. All right, so is a science, technology, engineering, math, STEM, I think it's supposed to say STEM, uh, major just for people who like math and science? I think we've also talked about this a little bit too, because we all, I think, used to be art kids. But uh, I mean, I think the general answer here is going to be no. If you guys want to start elaborating on it, or I can go into it.
Um, okay, I'll kick it off and then we'll go down the line. Um, no. Obviously, short answer. Like I said, science was my third favorite subject in high school, and it wasn't like my third, but like it was a strong third. Um, I did not like history. I can tell you that much. I will be transparent with you. So definitely nowhere near fourth, but also nowhere near second. I loved writing. Um, I loved math. But in the long run, I think I've also learned a lot about through the curriculum because I was so scared to come into engineering, especially at RPI, because my cousin came into RPI. That's why I applied to RPI. My cousin was at RPI and she failed out. She did not like engineering. She started off as environmental engineering and she failed out after her first semester and she left. And then I applied only because she was here and then I chose RPI, but she was no longer there. So then I was terrified to come to RPI. Because I was like, well, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do STEM. I just kind of put myself in this position where I was now at a STEM school. And then I was really scared. And I found that my high school prepared me very well for it because I wasn't like the top person in my science and math classes. Like I took AP Calc and I took AP Physics and stuff like that, but I was by no means the smartest kid in class, and I was really nervous that I was going to do really poorly, and I did fine. So I think it's one of those things that I really realize it's less about how you're able to do the math and science because a lot of your courses aren't even like that. I mean, they have applications of math, but a lot of it's just like your critical thinking skills and like your ability to learn. I think if there's one thing I've learned, especially being a senior, it's how to learn. Freshman year, I've always been a procrastinator. I would start studying the day before an exam, but I would start studying like, 8 a.m. and then stay up till like 4 a.m. for an 8 a.m. exam and only to do average. Whereas now, still bad, still not a flex. Don't do what I do. But I will start studying. I have done it where I study for 5 hours for an exam, and I do above average just because I've learned how to learn at this point of my curriculum. So it's not always just about being good at math and science. I think it's about loving to learn.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely not like a huge thing, but it's a little important just because if you don't like math and science, we do have to do it a lot. Like it's like if you really hate it, it might not be the field for you. But if you just don't mind it or you're like, yeah, I could see myself doing this or not, I think then STEM is could be perfect for you guys. It's because it's honestly mostly about being passionate about what you want to do. It's like, so if you have a goal and you want to work towards that goal, you'll really learn anything that you have to get there, you know? It's just like wanting to make a difference, and it doesn't really matter what you have to learn to do that.
Yeah, I guess kind of jumping off of that. Um, like she said, it's probably, if you hate math and science, probably not a great idea to go in there. You will probably use a lot of math and science if you're doing an engineering degree, but there's also a lot of other things that go into engineering. Uh, Again, there's the creativity part. There is a lot of actually, engineering could be considered, I think, a form of art. Sometimes what gets created from it. Uh, there's also like other other skills like teamwork and stuff that go into engineering. So it's not just math and science, although that's a pretty solid basis on there. There's a lot of different areas that go into engineering. Um, if you guys don't have anything else to add, I'll probably go to the next slide. That's all right.
How are we doing, guys? Can I see any thumbs up or anything? Any reactions like the chat?
Oh,
If not, we'll just move on.
you guys can hear us okay, right? Good, good.
Yeah, we got a thumbs up from Jordan.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay, something in the chat. Cool. Awesome.
We're doing well. I appreciate the affirmation.
All right.
Right?
Uh, this question is, speaking to a younger version of yourself, how would you prepare for your STEM studies in college? Do you want to keep going the same order?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Um, so for me, I think, like I said, I was really scared when I came into college. I think I wish I was more confident. I think my lack of confidence in high school held me back from actually like trying or engaging as much as I would have. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did fine in high school. I did well in high school. I did APs and whatnot. I was by no means like doing bad in high school. But at the same time, I think a lot of it was just like science and technology. Like you think of the things people do, you think of like, prosthetics and coding, and it was so difficult that I just assumed I would be bad at it. And I think a lot of that also comes hand in hand with, like being a woman or being like I'm Hispanic and stuff like that, that you're also just like kind of always a little sussed out, like especially like my outer family, like a lot of them just assumed I was going to go into a writing career and that my brother would go into more of the engineering career, even though I had always been better at math and science and he was always better at writing and history. And that was obviously just one of those like very culturally like kind of sexist things happening. Um, so I think I just wish I had more confidence in myself and like had a little bit more faith in myself to complete it, because I was genuinely very surprised once I came to RPI. I do think that my fear caused me to work extra hard at the beginning and over kind of compensate, and then once I saw how I did, I was like, oh, I'm actually capable. And realizing that I was capable earlier on definitely would have allowed me to explore the fields earlier on, because like I said, I discovered what major I wanted to do while in college. It would have been great if I figured that out earlier, and for that matter, maybe I would have even picked something slightly different or slightly even more focused on what I wanted.
Yeah. So for me, like honestly, like Bella said before, like I never used to really study that much. Like in high school, like I would procrastinate like till the last moment, and when I got to college, like I kind of tried to do that too. So speaking to a younger version of myself, how to prepare, I would say like you actually do have to study sometimes. Like you can't just like try and do it at the last minute. Like I would say time management. Like if I could have just told myself that. And I would also tell myself sometimes it's okay to get B's, like and lower grades, because the rigor in college is a lot harder than it is in high school. And if you're used to like doing really well in one subject, then you go to college and you like fail the first exam, let's say, because that definitely happened to me. It's kind of like a rough transition, but I would say like don't give up, like that happens to everyone. And whenever I would hear people saying this, I'd be like, yeah, well, that wouldn't happen to me, but it did. So, just keep going and you're doing your best, so that's all you can do.
Yeah. I guess for me, uh, I think it's good to have an end goal. But I think I put too much expectation on where I'd end up because I thought, what, this is the one track. I'm going to study this in engineering, and I'm going to end up working in exactly what I want to do. Making robots for like Boston Dynamics or something. That was the dream I had going in. But the whole thing with college is that you're learning what you like to do, and it's okay to change what you want to do and maybe figure out different things. And you might not end up where you thought you were gonna go going in. Uh, it's good to have a general like, okay, it's nice to think I kind of want to work in this, but you can't really like. I wish I knew going in that I can't really expect, where I thought I was going to end up from day one is going to be where I'm going to end up, and that's okay. It's all part. It's all about kind of growing and learning what would be something you'd enjoy or what the right fit is for you in school. Mm. We still doing okay? Are we still doing well?
No.
Mm.
I know that like three of the people are logged on their phone, so it's a little bit more difficult to like engage in things. So it could also be that.
That's
Um,
fair.
I see the little phone icons calling all of you out because my professors do that to me.
All right. I guess we'll go to the next question then.
um,
Oh, I think we have a
for
question.
9th to 12th graders at my school with very few or no AP classes, how can a student leverage the internet to learn what they are missing?
That's a good question.
That's a
With,
great
oh,
question.
at a school with very few or no AP classes. Okay.
Um, well, I mean, as someone who is kind of computer science based, I can speak to that at least. Uh, there are a lot of like online training programs you could do. I think for free, just like coding 101, Python 101, if you want to train in something like that. That's very specific though. There might be some similar things, like just basic courses you can take in areas or areas of interest that you're, potentially interested in. Khan Academy has a lot of great lessons. I don't know if you guys can attest to that one as well, or other websites.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of material out there, like AP reviews and stuff. So even if your school doesn't offer these AP reviews, you can get like the study books and just go through them and try, if you have time, little by little, just each day you can go through a few pages and learn some more things. You can look up YouTube videos of the AP reviews, or like, if you're interested in a certain topic, just look up like blank educational video on YouTube, and I'm sure that tons of stuff will pop up. And you can take notes, you can make art about it, you can make posters, you can do all kinds of recreational stuff to help you learn and like increase like your knowledge like in high school.
I think if there's anything I could say is that I like I said, I moved from New Mexico to Connecticut in high school, and my first high school was kind of in the similar boat. There wasn't as many resources, especially when it came to college outreach. So I think one of the things that you can do to kind of help that is what I like to do is one, find like more of a mentor at your high school that can help you. Like when I moved, I ended up getting really close with my physics professor. And he really helped me and kind of introduced me to careers that I had never even heard of because I was just not told them. He was like, "Oh, try engineering," and I was like, "I don't even know what that is, home slice, but okay." And then furthermore, I'm I know there's a lot of resources online, and like it can be hard to go and reach out to those resources because it's I wouldn't have done it, and I probably wouldn't do it now if I'm being honest. Not because it's not going to help me, but that's just not really the way I like to learn. And I've kind of learned that at this point that like either reading or going online is just not my path. I really like doing project learning, so if I could recommend anything, I would say look in your community and see what kind of projects are happening. Um, I know, I'm not sure what area you're from, but I know there's a lot of places that do a lot of work with high schoolers, and they do these hands-on projects to get them interested in STEM. And that was really cool. Like I just did an internship at the Radix Center in Albany this last, like a year ago. And there they take high schoolers and they do these hands-on like ecological work. I was also teaching the kids NX myself. Um, we did a lot of cool stuff, and the kids were constantly learning new things, and that was all applicable on a resume, all applicable on an application to college. And that's something that I know I would have enjoyed a lot in high school, those hands-on experiences. I also volunteered in high school, like a after school thing where I led an art class because like I was an art junkie. Things like that. Look online, like volunteer experiences near me, internships near me. Um, at your age, they might not be paid. They likely won't be paid, but it's great way to learn, and it's a great way to get experience that your peers are not getting. Kind of gives you that one up.
That was a very solid answer.
Thank you.
Hopefully that answered your question. Um, I mean, feel free if you want us to elaborate any more, let us know. Or any other questions?
Yeah, or even if I'm not sure where you guys are from, but if you guys are all from the Troy Albany area and you're looking for things to get involved in, I've done a lot of stuff within Troy and Albany. I've reached out to my professors. That's honestly how I get involved in a lot of this stuff now, is because RPI doesn't always have all the things I want. So I'll reach out to my professors, and they help me get involved. That's the Radix Center. Yes, radixcenter.org. So they take high schoolers. It's also paid, and they do like you typically help them with ecological work. That is the center though, and you have to apply. I'm not sure. They only take students from certain regions typically due to transportation. But if you reach out to them, uh, you can definitely like maybe get a leg up. I can also I'll drop my email in chat. I'm gonna drop my actual email. And if you want a personal connection to them to like message the people in charge, I don't know if they're still there or if they've changed, but you can shoot me an email also and I'll try to connect you with them. I know of other things happening in Troy also. There's like different farming things happening that you can get involved in. It's all sustainability based because that's what I've been interested in, but there's lots of stuff for sure.
Cool. All right. Let's move on to the next question. And then feel free to interrupt anytime if there's any more questions or if this has sparked any more thoughts or ideas.
All right. So I guess we'll go to question 5 for the moment. What challenges did you face and how did you respond?
Uh, Going down the line, line leader here. What challenges did I face and how did I respond? I think being in STEM and at a STEM school, obviously being a woman is one of them for sure. My school, at least when I joined, was 70% men, 30% women. Um, Not ideal. And engineering as a whole, mechanical, is I believe only 20% women. And then if you look more as a subsection of that, like Latino women are just like a very, very small fraction of what is mechanical engineers. I have an uncle and he used to hire engineers for the government and he was like, I have only met one Hispanic Latina like woman engineer in the past like several years, and that's just how it is. So that's definitely something. And I think, like I said before, it affected my confidence a lot because I think I have been underestimated a lot of the time. But I think it's one of those things that I kind of realized, especially once I started looking like statistically just at the grades I was getting compared to like averages. I was like, no, I'm capable. So I don't know why I'm feeling so down. I was like, it was one of those things that was weird. I kind of used my grades to kind of like motivate me because I was like, I'm clearly doing average or above average or whatever. And then it helped me gain a lot of more confidence. So, like I said, just confidence was probably the biggest challenge I faced.
That's a great point. Yeah, I like as a woman also I've like definitely experienced like people like always underestimating you and thinking that maybe you won't know the answer, but then you do, and it does feel good like when you prove them wrong. But another challenge that I kind of faced was just classes being hard, you know? Like as you get to higher level classes, the content's kind of difficult to understand. So sometimes I wouldn't be able to figure out a problem where I'd be stuck. So what I always do is I always ask for help. You should never be ashamed or like afraid or like deterred from asking for help from TAs, which are the teaching assistants, the professors. I've emailed my professors countless times. You know, some people are intimidated by professors because you know like they have a PhD and they're like, what if this is a stupid question? But there really are no stupid questions, and if a professor acts like there is, then they're not a great professor. Um, I also ask questions from fellow students, like, and I just think it's really important to speak up for yourself and to advocate for yourself if you're not understanding something or if you have trouble. And that's also something I would tell my younger self. So that's kind of some of the challenges I face and how I respond.
Cool. I guess kind of also going off of I think what you were saying earlier about that change in like you used to not really study in high school, but now you really need to study. Uh, for me personally, that was a bit of a change. There's a lot of differences between high school and college, and just kind of adjusting to not only like classwork wise, like exam formats are different, uh, kind of how you attend classes are different, getting used to that. Because it's not like a set, you go for this hour of the day. It's, you might have some classes here, some classes there. Some might be really early, some might be like 7 p.m. at night. It's just very different. So there's kind of an adjustment period with that I personally, it took me a bit to get used to. Um, there wasn't much, I guess, I really knew how to prepare for that. I don't know if there is much you can do to prepare for that, just except besides having the mindset going in that it will be different from high school, just kind of knowing that going in. I mean, Also, in terms of adjustment periods, I mean, we've all been through a pandemic, but that was another thing, was getting used to online classes, and now we're kind of back in, hybrid, mostly in line. Sorry, no, mostly in person. That's completely different. Uh, Mostly in person classes, and just kind of getting used to, I guess my point here is getting used to changes and kind of learning how to roll with the punches, because there is a lot of change when you go into high school. And like we were talking about your interests, you kind of figure out, what you like as you go through college. That's a lot of what college is, and there will be a lot of changes there. So, I've had a lot of changes happen during college just from high school in comparison. And it's just a lot of, kind of figuring out how to deal with it, how to cope with that. I've just kind of learned to, maybe not have such strict expectations, kind of go into my experiences with the idea of this can change, here's my goal, and, maybe have a few different plans to reach it.
And I think we have a question in the chat. What is the project that you're most proud of? That's a really good question. Um, Let me think. Oh, I'm actually working on a project right now for my capstone class, and I'm pretty proud of it. We aren't even finished with it, but it's a project to help with intraoperative parathyroid hormone monitoring. And I know that's kind of a mouthful. So, like, what it basically means is just measuring a certain hormone level of a gland in your neck during surgery and just trying to come up with and engineer a better design and a better solution to what they currently do. So yeah, hopefully at the end of this project we'll actually be able to come up with something that will be able to help real doctors. So I'm kind of proud of that.
Um, for me, I think I have like two, and both are not as engineering based. So I'm not sure exactly sure how applicable it is, but I guess it is kind of. Um, so I guess older, I used to create sustainability presentations and give them weekly at the elementary school. And that was like a project, like a semester long project where I was interviewing the kids, doing hands on activities with them, and it was with a class of fifth graders every week. And I really liked it. I got to see like in real time, like growing a connection with the kids and then getting interested in things like science and engineering. Even though the project wasn't as technical as some of my engineering based ones where I was using, computer aided design, I got to kind of see in real time the change I was making, which was really, really fun, especially being in Troy and the demographic that it is. It was really nice to see that like there was, because there isn't as rich of an education within sustainability and environmentalism. And then I would say the second one, more recently last semester, I did a project. I redesigned design curriculum to be more anti-capitalist, which is political, controversial, whatever. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I really, really liked it. I kind of was able to, as a senior, take a step back and see everything I've learned through my design curriculum, take everything I've learned through my engineering curriculum, and remake it and be like, I understand that I am very grateful for this curriculum I've had, but these are where I think its downfalls were, and then redesigning it. And I think that was one of the biggest, one of the coolest things, because I think at the end I was able to actually critique what I've received and how I believe it could have been better. And so I redesigned it through a few different lenses. Like I redesigned I redesigned design curriculum through an anti-capitalist lens, through feminism, anti-racism, and what was the third one? Oh, and housing justice. And it was a really cool project. So yeah.
Cool. I personally haven't gotten to work on too many projects just yet. I think I'm younger than both of you guys. I'm in a lower grade, but I did get to work on one project in a class called IED, which is Intro to Engineering Design, and we got to build a robot. In case you guys haven't guessed, I really love robots. But we got to build a robot that uh, is meant for people with, maybe disabilities or the elderly who can't carry heavy objects. So we built a robot. It could carry heavy objects and automatically follow you. So, you didn't have to worry about it. And it was just cool. Partially because we got to build an actual robot and I got to like code it and deal with the wires and stuff. It was just fun to work on. But also that was my first time really doing a big project. So getting to work with a team and actually making like a final product was, I think, probably the proudest part of it for me.
Did that answer your question, or do you have any follow-up questions? We can move on to question 6. We'll definitely have some time to see if there are any other questions, but in the meantime. Awesome. Thank you. Very interesting, yeah.
All right, cool. Glad that we were able to answer that one all right. So question number 6. What do you want to accomplish in your professional career? This is an interesting question.
It is interesting. I can go down the line. I have no idea. I'm doing, like I said, my dual in mechanical engineering and design. I'm doing my master's in science technology studies, which is more the social science side. Um, I think what I would like to do in my career is very different from what I will start off doing in my career. I would like to go down the more social science side. Like I said, I really like doing outreach, the sustainability stuff, community growing. I like doing curriculum creation. I'm considering doing a PhD, so maybe it'll be a professor in the long run. I think realistically speaking, I will probably enter industry as a mechanical engineer. Um, and do that at the beginning. And I'm hoping, if I'm lucky, I guess, I will end up in more of the renewable section of mechanical engineering, working on like wind turbines. Um, but yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either. I know that, my concentration is biomaterials. Under biomedical engineering, there's biomechanics, biomaterials, and bioimaging. I think now there's like a biomedical data science, but mine is biomaterials, which basically kind of is any item or machine that interfaces with your body. So it could be like an implant or like an x-ray machine or things like that. So I kind of just want to be able to say that maybe a project that I worked on or a team that I was on, because engineers never work by themselves, by the way. There's so much teamwork. Like every single thing that you see has had so many different disciplines of engineers and different people working on it. But yeah, I just want to be able to say that my work has had a positive contribution to like the biomedical field or to help advance society in some kind of way, whether it be just like a little technical thing or like a creative thing. Just I just want to be able to help people and, continue doing this kind of outreach to get more people interested in STEM.
I think you want to build robots.
It's absolutely what I was gonna say. I want to build robots. um, yeah, I, I mean, to be honest, I really like robots, but as I've kind of learned that there's a lot more that you can do with computer engineering than just robots. So I'm actually less sure about what I want to do. I'm still, it seems to be the common theme. I'm not totally sure what I want to accomplish either. I think I just want to find something that I enjoy, which might take a little hopping around, but um, that's really my main goal is just getting to work with something that I generally, might have some fun doing. Um, we'll see if it's robots, but that's what I have for that one.
Yeah, and this just goes to show too, like like all of us were like however many years into our engineering degrees and we still may not know exactly what we want to do, but that's kind of like the beauty of an engineering degree is that you have those kind of options and choices after you graduate. You like literally people are like begging to hire you like for your skills and for your, like so there's endless possibilities with an engineering degree. I just
I
want to
graduate in a few months and I have no idea what's happening. So
Well, that can happen too, but there the job is waiting for you out there. It's somewhere out there.
no, but I mean, I'm doing a master's, but I mean, like, in the sense that I have no idea what I want to do with my career yet, and
Yeah.
I'm that close to graduating.
No, yeah, same. I'm doing another year as well, so I'm just like, we'll see if I can figure it out in the next year.
I
Hopefully.
mean, like honestly, I my last boss that I had, who was an engineer, He's done all kinds of things. Like even once after you've graduated, you can try different things too. It's pretty cool what you can do with an engineering degree. There are so many different possibilities.
I worked in construction last
Nice.
summer. You can do whatever you want. Is there another question after this
Let's see. Uh, I mean, I guess whatever questions anyone has in the chat.
Yeah, so we have like 10 minutes left, I guess, as or what this session was supposed to end. So, does anyone have any last questions or any thoughts or anything? Or is anyone here interested in pursuing STEM? If so, what fields are interesting to you guys?
Also, if you
one?
guys like are on mobile and have a tough time with chat, I think it's okay if you unmute.
Absolutely, yeah, you guys can unmute.
Also, if you don't want to speak on like anything about STEM, if you're more just curious about like a college thing in general,
Yeah,
also fine. If you really want to know what my favorite color is, also fine.
I see. What is campus life like? Campus life, I think campus life is very different based on the different colleges that you might go to. Here at RPI, it's kind of like we're not like a small school, but we're not like a huge school, you know? So like you might see like the same faces walking around like by the dorms because we have like a freshman hill where like there's basically all the freshman dorms are kind of together and then also like the commons dining hall is there, so it's kind of like the camaraderie among students here. It I guess we can only speak to the colleges that we've been to, right? What do you guys think?
I really like, I think specifically unique to RPI is that it's a STEM school. So it's not like she said a small school or a huge school, but everybody's in STEM. I mean, for the most part, 50% of RPI's student body is in engineering alone, and the other 50% is in computer science, chemistry, whatever it may be. Um, I really like that. And especially as a mechanical engineer, I am like a dime a dozen. There's a million of us, right? Like we're all over. So if at any given point I know I can reach out to like a million different people for help, and even there's often equivalent courses in like similar majors. So, like my roommate, she's a biomedical engineer, but I'll ask her some questions in the past on like, oh, what is this thing for this system?
I think there's
Um,
another question,
I
but
am already an engineer and want to recommend that the students give strong consideration to studying a new field called machine learning, abbreviated ML. Is ML offered at Rensselaer? I'm not sure if it's offered as a major. I'm not sure if you guys are sure. I know we have a lot of machine learning courses though.
Yeah, I know for a fact that like I have some computer science roommates. I don't know if like machine learning and AI is its own major. I don't think so, but there is a concentration that you can do in AI, and there's I've heard them talk about their machine learning classes and things like that.
yeah, I mean, I'm personally going for a minor in the cognitive science of artificial intelligence right now. So I definitely have seen those machine learning classes. I have not heard of a machine learning major, but you can minor in stuff that concentrates in it pretty closely.
I just asked. You in PhD you can I guess do your thesis focus in machine learning as well, which is obviously a lot more school. It's not undergrad. I'm not sure about it in masters, but I know in PhD you can do thesis in machine learning, and we do definitely have a lot of courses in it.
I see someone said thank you for your insight, especially about time management in classes. Yeah, definitely. That's something that I would have loved to hear from some college students when I was in high school. So I hope that it was really helpful.
Other questions?
If you don't mind me going back to the campus life one real
Oh
quick,
yeah.
I did just want to add, there are, besides like living like in a dorm, there's a lot of other things on campus, like clubs and stuff, which are good to get involved with. I'm sorry, are good to get involved with. Just to meet people, because you might meet people living in the same like dorm hall with you or in your classes, but seeing people with like similar interests was fun. Like I was in juggling club. There's a lot of weird clubs when you go to college, like in a good way. Like if you have an obscure like interest, I wouldn't be surprised. You could probably find a club or if you can't find it, you could start it, and you'd probably get people to join. That's one of the fun things about campus.
I can say one thing I was pleasantly surprised by in college is the lack of, I guess, like social politics. Um, so like in high school, I was kind of really scared of coming to college and being like uncool. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be uncool. Or like high school, especially my high school was very like separate. Like there was the popular group, there was the unpopular group, there was a lot of these different cliques, and I was worried about not fitting into one, especially since I was going to a STEM school and I wasn't sold on STEM yet. There's a group for everyone. So like
No,
college
like
was
literally, yeah, everyone is just nicer, because everyone's like from high school and they're like different like social things, and when you get to college, it's all new, so everyone's just like talking to everyone. Like,
yeah, and it doesn't really matter like who you are or anything like that. Like there's none of that. Oh, you're in this group, like can't be affiliated. I don't know. I really enjoyed that about campus life as a difference from high school.
It's also like a lot of blending groups. Like it's not even like a clear cut like here's our clique, here's our clique, here's our clique. It's like you meet a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds with a lot of different interests, and you get along with most of them. Like is it? I think someone used the word camaraderie earlier. Um, there's a lot of that. People, it's just cool. It's cool.
Michael said, here's a very thought provoking TED talk by a math major explaining why it is important for more Black students and women to choose to study computers and machine learning. And there's a TED talk. So
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, thanks, awesome. I just clicked and I'll have to watch it after this.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I honestly wish I got more into computer science and coding and that stuff because it is really applicable, really employable. That's for sure.
It
Absolutely.
applies in like all fields, more than you'd think.
That is one thing I think absurdly employable. Like companies not only pay you a ridiculous salary, but then they also pay you just to agree to be on their team. Like, because you get signing bonuses as typical computer science majors. I'm not sure if any of you guys knew that, but like they'll pay you a lump sum of money just to be like, okay, I will work for you. And then from there, you also get like an absurd amount of money per hour.
Generally, engineering also does pay very well. As a side note, uh, that's another benefit of it.
Computer science, though, is up there.
Does anyone else have any last thoughts or comments or things to share?
We have about 2 minutes.
Do you guys have anything you want to add? Maybe you can give some closing thoughts. That's a good closing thought. Not everyone can go pro in the professional sports, but anyone can go pro in engineering or science. That's true.
Very true.
Very true.
It really does just take work. Like as long as you put some work in, try to get some good study habits and really, try to learn, like enjoy learning. That's all you need to really succeed in an engineering field.
Definitely. And I think like someone said earlier, you're always working in a team. So for example, it's not like I've done great in every class at RPI. And I would worry like, oh, when I enter the field, what if I don't know what I'm supposed to know from that course? There's going to be people on my team that know better, and I'm going to know better than some people on my teams and other courses that I did well. So you don't have to be the best at everything. Just get through everything and you'll be fine.
Exactly.
If there's nothing else, I guess we will thank you for taking the time to listen to our rants and stories.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for engaging in the chat and asking questions and comments. We really appreciate it. And we
Glad you
really
guys were able to join. Sorry.
No, yeah, go ahead. I was just gonna say we're really happy that you could join and listen to what we have to say.
Hopefully everyone gained something from it.
All right.
All right, I'll stop the recording then.